For G.I. Joe and Renegade Game Studios fans, you'll be pleased to hear that RISK G.I. Joe special missions funded on Kickstarter. And I just have one pressing question. Is this RISK? Or is it something else? By the end of this video, let's figure that question out. This is Legendary Tactics. So what kind of a game is this? I've got G.I. Joe Battle for the Arctic Circle, which is a riff on Axis and Allies. We've got the original RISK, we've got the Op Games, Star Wars RISK, Dune RISK. How are these games alike and how are they different? Well, this game is designed for 2 to 4 players. It's for middle-aged dorks like me. It's fun to see Renegade Game Studios revisiting IPs like G.I. Joe, Transformers, and other classics like Diplomacy. So who's this game actually for? This isn't an introductory game, and it's quite a bit more complex than the RISK game that you're used to. The game is focused on 5 master plans that shape each game in very different ways. For example, Scenario 1. From the Joe side, we've got protect the world governments. Cobra has infiltrated several world governments, liberate them and protect the others from the same fate. So it gives you an objective, a reward, and the end of the game. Now conversely, we've got the other side of this story, which is infiltrate world governments. So the Cobras have to infiltrate governments around the world, sowing discord and undermining the opposition. They likewise have their own setup, their own objective, the reward, and what happens at the end of the game. So there's 5 of those different scenarios. We also have all of these different hero cards. So for example, Duke. When Duke is in battle, the enemy's air and ground attacks during the first round of battle get no first die attack bonus. And so the first die attack bonus really changes the dice rolling mechanism from the traditional RISK. He also gets a leader action. So if Duke is in a disputed territory, deploy 1 to 5 infantry there and make a sneak attack. So there's some pretty cool asymmetrical powers with all of these different agents that you can use. Check out the Cobra Commander. So Cobra Commander may retreat from a disputed territory during your turn. If he does, you may deploy and reinforce up to 4 units to replace him. So this guy's a super chicken. He runs away from the fight, and then his leader action is remove up to 4 Cobra units in a disputed territory to remove a non-leader G.I. Joe unit of your choice with an equivalent combined recruit value. So essentially he sacrifices all of his guys, sends them on a kamikaze mission to take out the Joes. What a complete jerk. Man, that guy is super vile. So this game also includes these really cool faction screens, which really changes the mechanism of the game. There's a lot more choice with the game, which opens up new layers of strategy. There's new objectives, and each player assigns what units deploy to each location secretly. So you get to use these little cards, and then you put your units on it behind your board to figure out where they go. So this is very different from RISK. If you've played some classic games that recruit units like Axis and Allies, War Room, G.I. Joe Axis and Allies, Battle for the Arctic Circle, Star Wars Rebellion, you'll recognize the system of bringing new units onto the board slowly in these deploy zones. This game also uses faction action cards. That's fun to say. Faction action cards that you choose and resolve. You also add in command tokens to trigger, here's a bunch of those, extra actions on those faction action cards. And this portion of the game reminds me a lot of Star Wars Dune and Star Wars RISK, where you're using different portions of the cards in order to control different groups on the board. In this case, though, these cards are actually doing all kinds of different actions. So there's your basic actions, maneuver, reinforce, and then your special action where you're commanding with extra tokens, all kinds of different commands that are coming that will shape the way that your characters move on the board and the way that you decide to deploy or move your units. Now there are some similarities with original RISK. Why does it say RISK on the box? Well, first of all, the map looks absolutely identical. And I always find this part really funny. When we look at Canada. I'm from Canada. We see that Alberta, Ontario, and in this one we have Eastern Canada. In the Cobra G.I. Joe version, we have Quebec there. So we've only got 3 major provinces across central Canada, which is a bit comical because I feel bad for Saskatchewan, Manitoba, etc. Anyways, that's incidental, but the board is very much the same. We've also got these miniature units. So in this game, I think it's 265 units or so, and in this game we have 300 units, but you can see that they do look very similar that way. We've got 2 distinct types of units here. With this game, we've got Sky Strikers, Wolverines, Cobra Troopers, Rattlers, Cobra High-Speed Sentries, the Hiss units. So you do get a lot more variety in this G.I. Joe version of the game. When it comes to combat, you've got dice with the same basic mechanism, but additional layers of complexity with first dice bonuses. Really, that gets us a good summary of what the game is, and when I make a promise, I like to keep it. So just in case you skipped ahead to this part to find out if this is like traditional Risk, you came to the right spot in the video. And if you faithfully watched or listened to the rest of the video, mission accomplished. I appreciate you being here, and make sure to subscribe. We want to keep people like you around. The definitive answer here is no. This is not Risk. It's way more complex and layered. It's way more strategic. The player balance is completely different, 1v1, 1v2, or 2v2. But if you like war games, if you like G.I. Joe, and if you like a game with some replayability value, this one might be for you. So until next time, keep your mission secret, your abilities special, and your tactics legendary.